Fuck you, Tony. Got a group of failures and they're all my friends. Got a group of drinks and the bottles never end. And the night's gotta rock, gotta roll, and I gotta do fun. In the heart of no morals, babe, well, you're gonna get stuck.
Alright, motherfucking B-Rob is on the microphone finally. Technical difficulties due to shitty Wi-Fi signals. The man cave is at least 30 feet away from the Wi-Fi router, so...
You gotta get that daggone, get on Amazon and get you one of them 100-foot Cat 6 cables.
I know. I need to, but, you know, excuses and reasons and whatnot. There you go. I'll give you what you want.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
I wanna. What's going on, brother? How you been?
Chilling. Drinking alcoholic beverages out of my custom-made cups.
That is spectacular. Yeah, and previous to this episode, for the listeners on Joint Narcissism, I just did a podcast episode of his podcast right now, and I don't know when I'm gonna publish these episodes, man. I'm thinking of skipping over to Libsyn. I've been looking at what Libsyn offers, and I think for what I want to do, Libsyn is the better option for me.
Yeah, I just recently switched over to Podbean.
Podbean is super affordable, but I read the reviews, and for what I need and what I want, it didn't give me an offer what I needed. So I couldn't go with Podbean. But the cool thing is Libsyn gives each individual person their own app for their podcast.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's huge. And they give you video uploads.
Word.
Like if you want to do a series or whatever, like what I want to do. I want to do a monthly vlog,
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. So, I'm thinking of switching over Libsyn, and I'm really conflicted because the guy that runs Zencast is a really cool guy. Yeah. And, but I'm spending, too much.
Yes, I know. That's why I just came from over that way.
Yeah. I'm spending too much because I asked him if I added another show to it, would they charge me more? And he said yes, it would be the same thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well... And then I think for Libsyn's unlimited everything deal, I think it's like $40 a month, which is the same thing you're paying for at Zencast.
And you get less.
And with Libsyn you get so much more. You get so much more with Libsyn. I think I'm gonna go over there, and I think that's what's halting me is because if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna stop therapy sessions on that one. I'm gonna have to transfer it over, and then I'm gonna have to resubmit their RSS feeds.
Yeah,
it's just more work. A lot of giant shows right now, the person hosting the show does not need to experience what we go through.
Yeah, because that's what kept me over there for so long. It's just the inconvenience of switching the RSS feeds and all that bullshit. Because today, if you go to Podbean, before I even switched over and got an account, they already had my podcast feed over there. So when I actually registered...
Yeah, Podbean does that.
Yeah, so when I actually registered, it has two feeds in there. One that I actively use and another one, I guess, it just catches off the internet. So now I got two feeds up there, and I had to do the verification process to daggone make it mine.
Combine it.
And then that shit didn't work, so I had to get with them and be like, hey, motherfucker, fix my shit. And they was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man, this stuff, I've been editing these episodes, and See, my thing is I've been wanting to find an audio platform where it's a one-stop shop for me. And from what I've read and learned and did my YouTube studies on, was that Adobe Audition, which is a program that I have, is the perfect program to record for podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that it's not the greatest if you're on a Windows computer. It's only the greatest is if you're on a Mac.
Yeah.
Because you have way more controls. But since I'm on my PC, I can't. Like, what I'm going to do with this podcast for the listeners, I'm going to do what's called a double ender. It's where you record you, I record me, we talk on the Skype, and then I combine the audio file.
And we become Voltron.
And then we become Voltron and we dominate the podcast universe.
Yeah.
One planet at a time.
Two men, one podcast combined to take over the world.
Dun, 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 dun. Voltron, the podcast. I don't know what the fuck that was. I'm sorry.
I don't know. That kind of sounded like the Countdown Pod's intro. They do their intro a cappella, and it sounds kind of like what you just did.
That's funny, man. I love the idea of the individual podcasts. Like a lot of the major this is the thing that kind of bothers me about the podcast world that we're in right now. This universe that we're trying to survive in. Is that the people with already a big following, they don't really have to put that much work and that much creativity into it. You know what I mean? There's no, for the most part, there's no heart and soul. Like, where the individual expresses himself through his podcast, rather hiring somebody that's a producer that knows how to do everything already, and then just having their friends on who are already famous people that which already gathers a big following, and then just talks to them. You know, there's no. For the most part, there's no real search for the average person, what the everyday person thinks like, or what someone different that nobody knows about might think like. That window is closing because big corporations and media see podcasting and they know what it is. And they got the money to do what we can't fucking do. And it's upsetting for me, B-Rock. How the fuck are we going to start a podcast union to push out these big fucking cocksucking corporations, man?
Man, that is a good freaking question. And I feel everything that you're talking about, man. Cause like me, we're trying to kind of find our own identity doing these podcasts and everything. And, it's hard because social media is, a fickle thing. It connects people to one another all over the world and everything. But at the same time, all it is content. There's really not a lot of feedback unless you're one of those big celebrities and shit like you was talking about. Cause like, all right, if you go to my Twitter account, either one of them is over 1,000 followers. Supposedly 1,000 people or more are following my account to see what I say, read my opinions and thoughts and general shenanigans. But if I go on Facebook or Twitter or not so much Instagram is a little bit different. But if I go on any one of those two platforms and I put a poll out there with, A, B, C choices that you actually have to click on and pick something so I can get some kind of data, some feedback so I can do, stuff I want to research on the show and shit. Not a lot of people, give you that feedback. You'll get people that'll like your tweet. They'll retweet your tweet, but they don't give you the feedback that you asked for. They won't click on any other items, or they even comment on it and still won't motherfucking vote.
Yeah. What do you think that shit is, man? I always try to figure out what that shit is, why it is like that, because it has to do with a status, man. I believe everybody gives a numbered valued system for everybody. You know, like me, I got like 15K, over 15K followers or something like that, or 14K followers. No. Is that?
I don't know. It's up there though.
No, it's 19K followers. I'm at 19,000.8 followers right now. Right? I don't get that. I don't get those numbers. Those numbers don't reflect. They don't whatsoever.
No.
It's like a 0.05 percentage of whatever, you know? It's really strange. It's really it's an unfair advantage that goes unnoted. You know what I mean?
Because, I mean, you know, these podcast services or whatever, I mean, they give you some analytics. They give you something to kind of go off of, you know, like a map or whatever. But, you know, combined with, you know, both Twitter accounts, the 100 or so on the Facebook, the 100 or so on the goddamn freaking Instagram, you know, I only hear from the same probably 5-10 people every time.
It's an average of, you know, it's a really strange ratio, and I like the comparison of YouTube, because YouTube is a very good comparison. Because if you look at a lot of videos, the ones with the giant numbers, you know, and then if you look at their likes and dislikes, there's a equal drop in numbers from the views to likes and dislikes to comments. Right? It's a very small percentage of people actually commenting on those videos. And in the grand scheme of things, if you look at numbers, if you were to shrink it down to an equal playing field of our own, like the trolls and the negative numbers and the positive feedback wouldn't even be on that scale for us, because our numbers are so tiny in comparison to the ones that do get those type of numbers, you know?
Yeah, and then the analytics and everything is kind of flawed or whatever.
For Podbean, it is. I've heard for Podbean it is.
Well, for Podbean and, you know, just anything in general, because, I mean, just think about it. You put out a tweet, and now they got the analytics on your tweet or whatever. It'll say for your one tweet, you've got over 1,000 impressions. Yeah. All that is people just scrolling through the timeline, going over your shit. They're not actually looking at what you goddamn tweeted. An impression
is exactly that. Somebody just scrolled past your tweet. That your tweet was live on somebody's feed. That's exactly what that means. And then you got engagement. And then that's always significantly smaller than the impressions. It's almost 3/4 of this, like, it'll be like 230 impressions, and then you'll have like 70 engagement or whatever, you know?
Or even if that, because I mean, I don't know, man. It's just the system is kind of flawed. It just, before I knew what the impressions and everything meant, man, I thought I was doing fucking good. I was like, God damn, this thing got like 2,000 impressions, dog. I'm like, 2,000 people seen this thing. No, it was just a motherfucker damn hit it with the thumb swipe and went right past it.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I realized the numbers for the GSMH podcast weren't that great, is because then eventually Zencast adopted that filter to basically, if somebody retweets your link, it counted as a download in Zencast. And then they switched it, and then they fixed that little bug in their system, and then it no longer, like, my downloads significantly dropped. Significantly. Depressingly low. You know, from what it was at. It was like at 600 an episode, 500 an episode, 400 an episode, to 60 to 90 an episode per week. And I was like, all right, well, shit. So that's why I'm starting this show.
I mean, I don't know. It's just like, the numbers are good to know, but at the same time, I mean, at least from my side of it, it's like I really don't care as much, but at the same time, I do crave that feedback. Like, if I put something out there, I mean, like I said, it's that select few that I hear from all the time to be like, hey man, this shit was funny, or, you know, this guy is crazy, or whatever the hell. You know, I get that same feedback from those same people over and over again. But I mean, I want to know from the masses, because, like, if I put myself out there to do something, I like to know if I'm going in the right direction, wrong or right, you know? Because like merchandise, I mean, the only reason I made merchandise like t-shirts and everything like that, because I thought it would be cool if somebody bought something that I made, you know, something that I created. I mean, not so much that, you know, I get like a little baby percentage of the fucking actual sale or whatever, because I'm not manufacturing and making the shit myself. But just to know that there's, you know, somebody that digs enough for what I do to, you know, get something.
Yeah,
like
that's what we look for. We're human beings, man. We look for admiration. We always look to be like told that's a good job, that we respect what you do, because that's what we are as men and everything that we do. Even if we're a soldier or if we're a fucking pottery maker, it doesn't matter what you are. We do these things for a reason, and that's why we're here. Just like how that's why we podcast, man, is because we love it. We love podcasting. We love doing what we do, and we want to share it with the world. Yeah. And the least we want is like, hey man, I love what you do. That's the bare minimum. That's like, all. That's all that we would love is like, I love what you do. That's it.
Because like the whole thing, like you was talking about, a soldier or any kind of military member or whatever. I've been there. You've been there. Damn. We are stuck in the mode. I mean, I talked about this on another podcast with one of my guests. We are taught, you know, in the military to think linear. I mean, don't go out of the wavelength. Just keep a straight line and just do what you're told to do, and you'll be fine. And you know, when you separate from the military, it's kind of hard to shake that mentality, because now, you know, being a civilian, you have that, you know, lateral and longitudinal limits to, you know, think outside of the box and everything. So, I mean, that's what the podcast was for me. You know, I knew I was coming to the end of my military run, and, you know, it's more of a rediscovering of myself. You know, I got these little things back here running around, making noise and eating up all my food in the house and everything. And being in the military that long, 16 years, 2 months, you know, a lot of that time was gone away from these kids and everything, and my wife and my family, you know. So this is just a readjusting period. You know, I'm not so much rediscovering who I am and trying to get back into, you know, who I was before the military, but I'm rediscovering my kids and my wife and my freaking family, because I'm here with them all the time now.
You get to develop a new you. You get to experience a new version of yourself that you haven't yet experienced. It's a good thing to experience change like that. You get to learn new things about yourself that most people don't really get to experience, you know?
Yeah. But it's all crazy. I mean, like how you saying, like the numbers and everything. My whole thing is, if I can get one new listen every day, I'll be fine with it.
That's significant. That's significant, dude. If I had that same mindset from when I started my other show, I'd have a lot of dedicated listeners, you know? But the thing is when I started that, I was a fool. I didn't know the rules. I didn't know how things worked like I do now. And then once I realized that, once the show started to fall apart on my end, you know, I started to realize that if I can't maintain the type of show that's going now, because it was good, it was great, and that was the only way it was going to make it from that point, if it maintained that level of where it was at, but it couldn't. So I was like, well, now I got to restart. But now that I know the do's and don'ts, it's going to be a lot easier for me to get it to where I want to get it, because not only do I love podcasting, but I do want to make a living at it. You know, that if this is all I ever had to do, I would be so fucking happy. Like, it would be insane. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to do the same thing, but like, I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, if it could earn off itself to pay for itself, that would be fucking great. You know, because like for a while, like when I first got into podcasting, you know, I mean, I still don't know shit about podcasting. I just do it to do it. I just press the record button, whatever fuck fly out of my mouth, fly out of my mouth. But you know, just trying to come up with ideas to keep it going. I mean, as it is, I mean, I can do this on my own. No problem. I could pay my subscription every month. I could pay for my website every month, equipment costs and everything like that. But if the show could warrant enough on its own to take care of itself, that's all I'm looking for. You know, because like for a while, I'm not gonna lie, I frowned on Patreon because I mean, there's so many podcasts out there and there's so many different people doing that same thing that I felt like if I was to do that, you know, I'd just be sheepish. I'd be sheep-like and everything. But, you know, I looked into it myself instead of just going by hearsay. I mean, that's an important thing that you got to do. You got to do your own research. You can't really go off of word of mouth. So, I mean, I looked into it. I watched the video of the founder of freaking Patreon. You know, he told the story of how it got started and everything. I thought that was pretty damn cool. And then, switching over to Podbean, they got a similar service to Patreon over there. And I was just reading up on it. And my whole mentality is like, I'll try it. If it doesn't work, I'm no better off than what I was when I started. You know, I mean, if I don't generate anything from it, I mean, hell, I'm back where I was anyway. I wasn't making shit in the first place, so it doesn't really fucking matter to me. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you that, hey, I ain't begging for shit. I mean, if you feel that it's worth enough to, you know, give $1 here or, you know, buy a t-shirt there, then cool. I'm cool with that. But the most important thing is that you listen, that you're daggone, you know, interacting with the show, you know, a like, a retweet, anything. You tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You know, that's the most important thing about doing the podcast. Just having the word to get out there, to spread the love, if you will.
You got to spread the knowledge. Knowledge is love and knowledge is power. And that's the only way it gets spread is through conversation, man. And I love the idea of having conversations because, like, I'm the type of person that questions everything and then, you know, extrapolates things from the unknown and combines it with the known and then makes up theories and then, you know, there's some things in this world that I don't look at a certain way. And then when you have a conversation with someone that looks at it in a completely different way, it'll change the way you thought. And I think that's like so huge when it comes to evolution, when it comes to becoming bigger, better, and smarter, is for new things to be introduced to your mind, for your mind to break down and compute and figure out. Because, like, I have this thing where at a young age I used to get made fun of for saying and doing and not knowing certain things, you know, and I would feel ashamed and embarrassed. And I think with the resilience, I'm very resilient as a person. I have a very resilient personality, and I think with that, it subconsciously makes me want to know everything, so that I no longer feel shamed in a situation. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And also with that, I mean, I adopted a lot. I mean, it was mostly imparted onto me from the military. Is a lot of not giving a fuck.
I learned how to not give a fuck so hard in the military. I learned how, like, the military taught me, like, when it is okay to be scared of getting fired and when it is not okay to be scared of getting fired. You know what I mean? There was times when I would do something and just be like, I don't give a fuck. What are they going to do? What are they going to say? You know, I'd be walking around outside without my cap on. What are they going to say? What is it? And to put it on? Okay, I'll put it on. They're going to make me do push-ups? Okay, I'll do push-ups. Oh, no. It's the end of the world. I got to push.
No, you're making me get physically fit.
I got to push now. All of a sudden, it's the end of the world. Nah, he's helping me get jacked. It's all right. I'm cool with that. Like, there was so much that made me, but I also learned when to give a fuck on the range.
Yeah.
On the range. You knew when to be a professional on the range. Because if you were not a professional on the range, you got your ass whooped. You got your ass handed. You got body slammed on your neck if you didn't handle yourself on the range. You know? So
because you're not endangering yourself, you're endangering everybody else.
And fuck your life. If you're gonna, that's basically America's standard. Your life is unimportant if you're risking everyone else's. It's as simple as that. Yeah. It should be as simple as that. If this motherfucker is killing, hurting, or endangering other people's lives, it is the end of his. Right? Anyways, what's up, B-Rob, man? That was fun on your podcast when we're recording. We had a 5-way podcast.
Yeah, that's not a threesome. It's not a foursome. It's a
quint.
What is that?
It's a It's a
singleton
couplet sex. I don't know why sex was in that. You know what we should do? You down to start a podcast with me? A live stream podcast on YouTube where we do hostful podcasts with a whole bunch of podcasts, and then we ODS it straight to live streaming on Facebook and YouTube and shit. I'm down too, man. I'm down. I stay down.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to do the ODS on my end, but this laptop ain't handling.
That's what I'm worried about. That my computer won't handle the ODS. I have XSplit on here, but I don't know if it won't do the multi-screen thing like ODS is supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, I can do all that shit on here, but it's just like the computer can't handle it. The processor is too weak. It's just damn.
That's basically sometimes what happens over here. That's why on your show, there was a point where I just stayed quiet for a long period of time. It's because the entire time it was like, yeah,
because we were sitting there like, what the hell is going on? That's why you kept saying Skynet got him.
About getting off the grid, and all of a sudden I disappear. That was so perfect. It doesn't get better than that. I couldn't have scripted that better myself.
Yeah. But like with the live show on the freaking YouTube and everything. I mean, what we doing? What we gonna brainstorm right now? What's up?
I think we could if we have a dedicated one other person other than us two. If we could get one other person dedicated, then we could pick topics, popular topics, and we can do absurd like segments. Like let's say I do sports, right? And I talk about sports, but during the time I'm talking about sports, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Everything that I'm saying is wrong. I am so off. And that's the segment. That's the thing that makes a segment. And then you got let's say politics, or what's another segment you could do that?
Shit, I could do
you
politics.
Could do politics, and then we can get one other person to do I don't know. We can make. I don't know. We need one more segment. I just don't know what it is, but I think we could make something great with that. I think we could, and I think it would be easy.
Yeah, and I think 3 would be. Yeah, I think 3 would be good because, like, I mean, say the off chance of one or two of us couldn't do it, one person can run the show, and vice versa. We can either rotate it or we can do
we just work together.
2 this time, then a different 2 this time. I mean, there's multiple angles we can come to at it in case all 3 of us can be there.
Yeah,
at the same
and if I know you have a green screen. You have a green screen,
or
right?
special guest.
And I need to reorder a green screen. If someone else were to have a green screen, it wouldn't have to be live. We could do just fucking record ourselves doing our skits, and then I could process it over here on my end and fucking do graphics and yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I love. I love the idea of collaborating with people creatively, because over here you got a lot of selfish people that want to do their thing and want to become famous in their thing, but they don't want to collaborate or share. You know what I mean? Because creativity is a magical thing. Not everyone is blessed with this creative thing, and it's important to share. I think it's important to share, just like it's important to share ideas, because that's the only way we grow. And if we're not growing, we're dying. You feel me?
Yeah.
Shit. Fern Golly, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Fern Golly.
Fern.
Motherfucking Fern Girl. The last rainforest.
I'm over here starting a farm in the ghetto. All right? Who's tripping? I got a pig, 4 chickens, dog, cats, gophers, fish, turtles.
And a partridge
Fucking
in a
nailed it.
pear tree.
Fucking nailed it right there. That was great. Holy shit.
I like that cup, man.
Right?
It's just like,
Very proper.
just, yeah, you just get like some diesel fuel and
You
then
see, I
it's like,
went from a 24-ounce can to a very, very modest teacup. A very modest teacup. Yes.
yes, very sophisticated.
No, I'm not that
surprised you don't have
sophisticated.
your
I
pinky up
refuse
right
to be that sophisticated.
now. I don't know. Maybe I was born this way, man. Because every time I get the cup, man, the pinky
Mine's
just
a conscious
automatically.
effort.
I
It's
don't
a
even think
conscious
this.
effort, man.
It's like it.
I make a confidence effort. This is what I do. I
'cause-
always rest, like I make my pinky the supporting pinky. That's the way I force my body to not do that fancy shit. Because you know what? If I don't think I need to do that. All right? That's the thing. Is if I don't need to do that. There's some things in this world that society of sophistication says that we should do to be a proper person. But sometimes you're just like, I don't need to do that. Like, I'm a proper person if I just mind my own goddamn business. Yeah. At the end of the day. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, to quote Dave Chappelle that quoted Rick James, fuck your couch.
Yeah. I'll say the N-word.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little bit disgusted with myself after
you
the
said the
podcast
N-word.
earlier, man. Yeah,
Hold
no,
on.
man. I don't do that, man. I don't even know what it was. I think it was when I was telling that story, it took me back to a time to where I used that word prevalently. You know, I used it a lot back then. I mean, not a hell of a lot, but like enough to where, you know, I was cognizant that I was saying this shit. And now, I guess when I was telling that story, I was just kind of like putting myself back in that situation or whatever, and it just kind of sprouted out. I didn't even, until I heard myself say it, I was like, oh no.
No. Yeah, I heard it. I didn't say anything about it. I was going to say something about it later. It just happens. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to a lexicon. Sometimes there's context to a word, man. Like, my thing is why give so much power to an individual word? A word. A fictional thing that is made up to translate something, you know? And nowadays, like most words, they have multiple meanings. And it's all about how you use it in a sentence, which is how fucking upset you should be. You know what I mean? Like, if I straight up said, man, fuck you, B-Rob, you're a fucking... You know what I mean? Yeah. That's offensive as shit. That's wrong. Yeah. But if I said, what's up, B-Rob, you my nigga, that's not that offensive. That's like saying you're my homie, you're my G, you're my best friend, you're like my cousin, and I love you. There's context behind it, and when there's immediate uproar and anger about a word, how a word is used. It's just like how females use the word bitch. Just like how the females use the word bitch and call each other, bitch, you're a slut, you whore. If a guy were to ever say that, it would be taken to the 1,000th of bad percentage, you know? What happened?
Yeah.
What happened? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I paused anyways.
Like I was saying
but
earlier,
that's what
man,
I'm
this
saying.
Is adjustment period, dog. I've been wearing a uniform for 16 years straight. Right. I don't have no regular clothes. Yeah, but like you were saying, man, it's just like I don't use the word because like sometimes it's just like I feel. I mean, all right, there's all kind of negative connotations around that word. I mean, if you say it with ER or GA or freaking AH or however other way you can spell it, there's going to be some kind of negativity surrounding that word. So I don't say it. That's why I say motherfucker a lot. I replace the N word with motherfucker because anybody can be a motherfucker. But like in a lot of things in the military, that shit doesn't fly, man. And I've been around it long enough to when I see a younger set of Marines come in or whatever that still kind of got that stuck in them and whatever, and they still like say it, and I got to be like, hey man, you can't do that, dog, because if you saying it, then you're gonna give that guy over there a reason to say it, and then you're not gonna like it when he says it, and all
That's
these
very
this
true.
one here or this one here or this one here or this one here. So
That's a very
I don't say
unbiased
it.
perspective, which is very respectable. That's the thing, though. That's the way I see it. Is exactly like that. If you shouldn't say things that you know that could become potentially volatile, but like on my mind, I'm like a progressive hippie in a sense, where I'm just like, the only way to get rid of that connotation is to take the word and overuse it to where the meaning is nothing. You know what I mean? And sometimes I feel like that's what it takes. But a lot of times, who knows? There's going to be a time in our history as a human species, if we don't get wiped out by a meteor, right? There's going to be a time where we're all exactly the same, and the only thing that divides us is our class, is how much money we have. That's the only thing that'll divide us, I would say, 100 years from now. 100 years from now, there's not going to be a purebred anything, right? Everybody done fuck everybody.
Yeah, I believe that.
We done mixed. It's going to be like the episode of South Park where those time-traveling immigrants.
Yeah, man. We just waiting for all them old dumb motherfuckers to die off, man.
Yeah,
because I mean,
they need to die.
We all know this is a learnt.
It's learned.
Is learnt.
Yeah.
People learn this shit, man, because I mean, if you put 2 3-year-old kids, you know, of any ethnicity together in the same room, they're gonna play with each other.
And it ain't gonna be no thing.
Without any bias.
What are they gonna do?
But
what are they gonna? I mean, come on. It's a learned ignorance, man. It's a learned ignorance, and it's such a weird thing when you experience these days. I understand how liberals believe racism is dead, but they're wrong, man. I can get how you can feel like the whole world sees it the way you do, because I'm not racist. I don't have a racist bone in my body. I have stereotypes, and I believe certain people that grow up in certain cultures, certain stereotypes, and that's just a fucking fact. And there's nothing racist about that, because that doesn't mean you hate them. That just means you studied up on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the point being is racism means you think you're better than somebody because you come from a different part of the world than them, or they're not the same ethnic race as you are. And I absolutely believe that that's just pure ignorance, man. And that's why when I experience that, it's so gross. It's so weird. It's like I'm watching something like it's like I'm watching fucking Game of Thrones or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's even to the fact to me to where it's just like, is this really happening right now? Is this real?
Have you?
Did I take the red pill?
Have you ever experienced a awkward racial situation where it was just like, this wasn't necessary? You never.
I can never say I had.
See, that's why there's a stereotype that all black people experience that, and I don't know. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it's just like, I did, but I really didn't. Because I don't know, because like growing up as a kid, I never experienced it. I never heard my parents talk about anything like that, because I mean it would be prevalent in their lifetime, because my mother is 75 years old, my father is 85 years old, so they was in the thick of it.
They fuck out of racism.
Hell yeah. And then my mom is a lighter skinned lady.
So that means
like she can pass for a white person. She got
some white blood in her somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I mean, because my mama's side of the family are all like that. Yeah, and my father's side is
dark
the
as
opposite.
Shit.
But I mean, growing up as a kid, they never spoke about it. They never used that word. Like that. They never talked about other people. And I think
that's why you are the way you are. And I've had this idea. This idea. It's a liberal idea, and it's if you want something to go away, you just don't talk about it. It's as simple as that.
And that's kind of why I don't use that word.
That's why you're a fucking great dude. You're not doing mumble rap. You're not.
Well, not
Yeah,
intentionally.
not intentionally. You're doing a mumble podcast. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know what I mean. You're not doing these idiotic things that are stereotyped because you weren't raised to see the world a certain way. And I can imagine where there are some angrier, older black folks that, you know, white men are the devil because in their experience, from what they've experienced, yeah, that makes sense. White men is the devil. They fucked your life up. They hurt you. They raped your lady. You know what I mean? Like, shit like that went down, and really gross shit happened in the name of race. You know? And I can see it and I can understand it, but there's a point where you gotta, where everybody has to understand if you want to get rid of this racial tension bullshit, you just got to stop thinking about it. You got to stop talking about it and just see everybody as a robot. That's it. B-Rob's a robot.
Everybody's
Tony
the same.
Roger's a robot. We're all manufactured in this world to satisfy everybody's fucking needs and wants and deepest desires. This is Westworld. I live in California. It's the end of the world. I am being controlled. Somebody's writing my program and my script. And you get my point. Like, it's so stupid to limit yourself to the color of your skin or where you come from. I think everyone should just be open. And it won't hurt anybody to just be open, because you can, and a lot of times the reason why people aren't open is because of hurt and pain and experience. But I believe that's a defeatist and it's a weak personality that just gives up. Because I've had the world shit on me and crumble on top of me so many times, but I've never given up. I've never given up. And I've learned so much, and I've met so many interesting people, and I've experienced so many things simply by not giving up. And that's all people need to understand. You know?
Yeah. And then sometimes you gotta not
And then
give a fuck.
sometimes you gotta slap a hoe. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you got not. Not giving a fuck is the most perfect thing, but it's the least human thing. You know?
Yeah. Hey, but sometimes the situation may call for it. Not all the time.
It just depends on the situation. Because
yeah, I mean, everything is just like anything in the world. Moderation. You have to do it in moderation.
Like drugs. I do drugs in moderation. Except for weed. I do weed in what is that word? In excess. There you go.
Excess.
I do.
I wouldn't monetize that or moderize that. I wouldn't minimize that.
Yeah. So,
I mean, if I had that lifestyle, I'd just be like right now while I'm talking to you, just
if
be
you
hanging
lived
in
in
my mouth
California,
right now.
you'd be doing the same damn thing, man. Because I mean, that's all you do, anyways, right? What do you do outside of this? You do your family thing.
Oh.
And then you podcast. Mm-hmm. You could be high the whole time. You could, but you're not.
I could, but I'm
God
not.
damn it. It's because you live in Texas. Is a great place to live. It will be even greater once they make weed legal, and they will. They will eventually.
Yeah.
It will.
I think it'll be the last one.
I think it will be the last one. Either that or Nebraska. I don't even know anything about Nebraska. I just because that's the only reason why I said it is because I don't know nothing about it. So I would assume
it's a lot of corn. Yeah,
exactly.
There.
So they wouldn't want people growing their weed in their cornfields.
But that might be a nice hybrid.
That THC corn, you get that corn on a stick, the elote, but it's hybrid with weed. And if you eat the whole thing, it fucks you up like an edible. Dog, that shit would make billions.
Man, shit, you can make that bitch into some popcorn,
weed,
dog.
Natural popcorn weed? Are you kidding me? You don't even need butter because it's got too much THC. It's got plenty of oil in there to pop that butter, you know? Dang. But the only thing is they don't come from the same genus, so we can't do that. We can't, and the only way we can do that is in a laboratory, and then hippies won't eat it, and hippies are pieheads, so.
And then you talk about genes, we can get a genie If you can like rub the lamp and make a wish. And
If
make it
that were, yeah, if I dream a genie, if I found a magical lamp, because I'm finding all these magical things up here in the man cave. If I were to find a magical lamp, I would wish for THC infused corn stalk seeds, multiple, so that I could start a farm and then capitalize on this world. Because corn goes into everything.
Yeah.
Now that weed's becoming legal, weed's going to be in everything. If I capitalize on weed and corn, I will be a trazillionaire.
Can
Yeah,
I
man,
just have
it'll
my
be
face
B-Rob,
on the packaging? I just be on there like this.
Just like that. And that hand, you'll have a big ass corn of bud stalk. It'll look like a bud, but you'll see corn in it. And then in the background, it'll be popcorn.
Man, that'll be
just flying everywhere.
Oh man, that should be the name.
Bud
of it.
stock.
That should be Bud Stock.
Bud stock 2020. How do you feel about having Trump as president? I don't really talk about that much.
I don't care. Dog, I don't watch TV. I just know he's the president now.
Yeah,
I mean,
me
and I'm
either.
not shocked at all because we as Americans, we vote for the strange and unusual. Look, we had George W. Bush in there twice, and he was supposedly one of the worst presidents ever.
And Obama was and
Twice.
after him it was Obama, and everyone swears up and down everything's Obama's fault. 2 terms, and now we got Trump.
Yeah. 2 times.
Yeah, the epic rap battles of history. Dude, that shit's so great. Dude, I've been following them from the beginning, man. Since 2010, I've been watching those guys since the I remember I started watching them with the Chuck Norris versus Abraham Lincoln. That's the very first thing I ever seen. And then there was the Hulk Hogan versus Kim Jong-il. And then Macho Man came in. Oh, yeah, it's about to get real. Watch me slap it to a Slim Jim Kim Jong-il. And I was like, God damn, these fools are killing the game, dog. Oh, and now they're killing it, dude. They got like fucking millions and millions and millions of views on every video they put out. The most recent one is already at millions. It's only been out for like 2 weeks, you know?
Yeah. What do you think contributes to that? I mean, obviously they got a good shtick going down and everything, but
it's pure creativity and just going with it. Because if you go back and you look at the very first episodes, the green screen was shit, the graphics were shit, but the soul of their brand was the rap. And their raps have not gotten worse. Mm-hmm. They've only gotten better. And throughout time, with popularity, with numbers comes money, which comes the affordability of hiring a professional person that knows how to do green screen, hiring and downloading the right equipment and having the right stuff. And now their shit is just so much better, every single time. They did the Trump versus Hillary rap battle. They did the Romney versus Obama rap battle. You know, it's fucking like they kill it every time. And the structure of their raps are fucking great. It's traditional syllables, punchlines. Like, it's fucking great. It's great. I can't get over it.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't do anything of that level with that.
How would you even rap like that? Like throughout history. How would you rap like that as Genghis Khan or fucking Theodore Roosevelt or fucking, I don't know, Chuck Norris? You can't do it. The greatness about those guys is they embodied the character. When they rapped, you're like, that's Chuck Norris. Or you know what I mean? They're like, yeah, I can see that person rapping like that. Or like the, what's that bitch from Alaska? They did a Sarah Palin versus Lady Gaga. And when Sarah Palin rapped, you're like, yeah, that's Sarah Palin. You know what I mean? And they had one with John McCain. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I respect the creativity process, man. And I always want to work together with other people. It's just where I live. People treat their time like it's the most precious thing ever. and they act like they don't have any of it when in reality they're just sitting around doing exactly what we all do, which is nothing. And what I want to do is I want to capitalize on the time of sitting on my ass and create shit for the masses and take over the world. Okay. Thank you.
That was epic. That should have been an epic rap battle.
I need to take my medication. I need a green
your
screen.
green screen.
Yes.
You should have had a. Yeah, if you had a green screen, you could have put some explosions and some cats with rainbows.
You know, I need I want to create
shit.
a Patreon account. I just don't know what I would offer.
See, and that's the same thing, man. I even brought my wife in on it because she's looking to do the same thing for a blog or whatever, because she's a writer. She writes and everything. I think she's really good at it, and she just been researching things that she can do to, generate cash from doing blogs. And I've been doing the same thing as far as my little thing that I got going on with my podcast. I mean, basically what I did on my end, I just went to, the top 10 most popular Patreons, and I go see what they offer. And then I go to like some of the more lesser known guys like us, like that Potter Family stuff. A lot of those guys got Patreon accounts and everything, and I go check out their stuff and see what they doing. And I mean, the first 3 tiers ain't really nothing, dog. The first tier is like the lowest you can go is $1. And then the only thing they really offer is like maybe a shout out or, a thank you or something like that. Cause I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, unless they are donating to you via PayPal or something like that, these Patreons and these other crowdfunding things, these are a monthly commitment. So that person is not just giving you $1 one time. They're giving you $1 every month for however long they feel like giving you $1. So, I mean, you got to incentivize some kind of way. And then you can go all the way up until, I forget what the max that you can go up to. It's pretty damn high. But I mean, if you go that high, like say it's $1,000, what the fuck are you doing for $1,000?
Holy shit!
You
go hang out with him.
Paying you $1,000.
You just go hang out with him.
Yeah, for real. And then, yeah, and my whole thing is like, I'm trying to be creative with my incentives because anybody can come on my podcast. I'm not gonna daggone make them pay me to come be on the podcast for something that I would do for free. That's
charged to be
stupid.
on a podcast.
Because I mean,
yeah, that's weird.
Exactly. Anybody that has an opinion, a thought, a voice, or whatever it is, they can be on my podcast. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna.
That's weird. Is there people that charge that? Is there people that do that? They charge to be. What the fuck, man?
Yes. And they actually make money.
I mean, I could see that. Like, let's say if Joe Rogan did that, and it was like $500 to do a 10-minute guest spot on his show, I would do that. You know why? Because that would be the perfect advertisement for me, and he lives not an hour away from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, and that's the thing with if Joe Rogan did something like that. I mean, yes, it would kind of ultimately benefit you for you, because I mean, just what you said, you can get your brand out there. I mean, hey, you're there with freaking Joe Rogan. But if Joe Rogan was to do something like that for $500, that $500 probably going to charity or something like that, because he's not really worried about that Patreon account. He got sponsorship and all this other.
To be honest with you, man, like for me, Joe Rogan's my idol and my mentor. I look up to everything that motherfucker does, because everything he does, if outside of ego and outside of yourself, if you look at it from a perspective outside, he's like the most ethical guy there is, man. Like, he's fair. He calls his own bullshit. Like, he practices what he preaches, and he lives a lifestyle that I admire. You know, he doesn't do anything he doesn't want to do, and he lives a life that's comfortable, and he knows if shit hits the fan, he has nothing to worry about. That's the way I want to live. I want to live like that. I want to make money doing what I love, just like he does. I want to hunt my own meat. I want to do all those things. And like, if he were to offer something like a $500 deal, I would do that. I would do a half my paycheck. Dude, I would do it. But those things don't exist, you know? Just like, let's say Bert Kreischer on the Bertcast. He's been looking for like a producer, and I've emailed him. I've tweeted him. I've emailed his managers. I've done all these things. Like I have everything he needs. Even with when I get that drone, that's an extra tip that would be like super beneficial for what he wants to do because he's super on the vlog. And if I could go there and quit my job cleaning pools, make money helping him on his podcast, and do my own podcast, and maybe work out a deal where all he has to do is maybe do like a 15 seconds advertisement for my podcast in lieu of payment for my work. You know what I mean? And yet I still get nothing in return, dog.
Yeah.
I get nothing in return. I get no emails, no tweetbacks, no retweets.
See, and that's what I was. Yeah, see, and that's what I was talking to you about earlier, man. I mean, something is up with the system. I mean, an email. You put your contact information out there for people to be able to get in touch with you. So, I mean, regardless if you are interested in what they're selling or not, it should be some kind of response
just out of
to their,
pure respect.
their request or whatever. Hey, would you mind being on my podcast? No, I can't do it because
but you don't get respect because we're nobodies, man. And that's my problem with the big media coming into the podcast game. That's my problem, is because now they're dominating the market and making it an unfair advantage. It's not. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that, because the way it works when you have a network, which is why I wanted to start a network, which is why there's FYFC Studios, which is why people are putting together network, the Nerdist Network, fucking the Death Squad Network. Do you know why they do networks? The numbers, man.
Strengthen numbers.
Because when you do advertisement, they combine all the numbers of every show. It's not an individual show thing when you're a part of a network. All shows, numbers combined, count. So that's why it's unfair. It's unfair because you could have one of the top shows and one of the bottom shows and still be a part of the network, and that bottom show will rank up with one of the top shows, even though maybe your show's doing better. But since that bottom show's a part of that network, it's going to get better ratings because it's always out in the forefront. There's so much to this shit, man. There's so much to this shit, and that's why like I'm doing everything I can to beat it. It's just tough, dude. It's tough. And that's why I want to start my own thing. Would you like to join GSMH Productions maybe? Or start a YouTube thing? Or I don't fucking know. I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass right now, maybe. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Shit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, I want to do so much, but I know I can't do it right now. So I'm just kind of like biding my time to where I can just
as
jump
in
on
what?
the
Elaborate
opportunity.
on that.
I mean, like, besides just doing the podcast, I mean, I want to do other things. I want to make little short movies, or even, I mean, just dabble in it, just to try it or whatever. I mean, with everything that I have now, I can't do it because this computer can't handle it. Anytime I load up Skype and I have another program open, this computer is saying, no,
you're right.
no,
it's the
don't
same
do that
here.
to me.
It's the
It
same here.
hurts.
So
It
I personally have two options, is go to Rent-A-Center and get another computer like I did with this one, or take this tower that I have, which was made for game design, gaming. Like it was one of those towers that were built for high performance shit. The only thing is it was built like in 2010. So it's outdated, you know? So if I take it,
Exactly.
Yeah, so if I take it and get
And
it updated, I can use
every
this
day.
tower to process video, you know, because I plan on doing video too. You saw that I'm going to have a gang of video, you know? So I'm going to do that. But that's why I started GSMH Productions, and I'm trying to get other people to join. But see, even though we don't live by each other, if we were to join forces, it'd be great, because I know for a fact you're about your shit, and if you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it, because we're creative people, and I know you enjoy this shit. See, I tried to join forces with people that were creative but didn't love it, and it went south every fucking time.
Yeah, because it's little more than just me trying to do something different to give to somebody else. Is just more
go
me
outside of
seeing if I
yourself.
can
Like what?
do
What do you
something
think
different.
of maybe improv
know?
comedy?
Yeah, I mean, because like going
Yeah,
on
in the beginning.
Sean's podcast, Horribly Awkward, he does that, and like the very first time
It's
I
very
went on
weird,
there, and
right?
I was like shell shocked in the motherfucker because I didn't know like what. It's weird because I mean you're not ready for that. You don't do that all the time. But like maybe the second or the third time I've been on there, I was like,
not
oh,
only
shit,
that,
I got
but
this.
Sean is
Just make something
actually
up.
really good at it now.
make-believe.
Sean is legitimately good at the improv.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
he's the other one we could bring in. Maybe he's the other. Maybe he could do the weather or something.
Maybe.
He could do weather. You could do politics, and I could do
can see.
MMA and sports. Let's do it. You down? I'm down. Now, you know what is?
I'm down.
Check your Skype. Check your Skype right now and see if do you have Sean on your Skype? Oh, he already bounced?
Oh, Sean ain't
Yeah.
around. I talked to him a little bit earlier.
Oh.
Yeah, he
Oh,
went
that's
out
right.
with
He's
his
all
mom and
stuffy in that
grandma
video
and
he
everything.
posted
He ain't
on,
feeling too good
Instagram.
anyway.
That's too bad. That's too bad. We could get him to join in on this conversation real quick. God damn it. But that would be great. But yeah. See, that's that shit that gets me excited. I don't know if you can't tell. When ideas like this start going around, I get all excited and I just want to jump on it and I want to fucking do it and I want to knock it out.
Yeah. But I mean, that's another thing with it as well, man. It's impulsiveness. It runs through you. It runs through me. I know that for a fact. It's just like I've got so much shit stuck in my head to where like I want to do this. And I was like, all right, I know it's going to take some time. And then like a day later, I'm like,
it's never
going to
get done if I don't do it now.
Otherwise, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes, I mean, even capitalizing on that impulse, man, it just kind of sets you back a couple steps too. Cause like, all right, I know I can get this camera today, but if I get this camera today, I won't be able to get my computer. And the computer is more important than the camera. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just shit like that.
That's why I ordered cheap stuff and then, I'm suffering for it in the end because I still haven't got my camera. Still haven't. Yeah. Wish. I mean, it's great because everything's fucking cheap as shit. It just sucks that because it's direct from like Japan and China that it takes for fucking ever and the customer service is
so it
garbage.
takes a little bit.
It's garbage through Wish. Customer service, like the extent of customer service is you just wait a little bit longer, and then they refund your money. And then you don't get your item. Like now, like the item that I ordered was $15. Now I'm looking at the item, it's $40. So now I'm like, well, if the order doesn't go through and I don't get my part and they refund me my money, it's not like I can get that item again. Now I'm going to be paying 3 times the price. So now that's like super inconvenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But
that's
hey,
right.
When it comes through, it comes through.
Right. Where are we at? Shut up.
Hour 3.
Nuh-uh. Oh.
Yep.
An hour
1
and
hour
3.
and 3.
I thought you said, I was like, hour 3.
Oh, you thought I said 3 hours.
Well, you got anything you want to talk about, B-Rob?
If anybody's out there listening, support your local podcaster. Hell, even join your local podcaster's cause. Get on their show, speak your thoughts, tell them if they suck, tell them if they don't. Feedback is important, and it's very much so appreciated.
Feedback's important. It is. So I think this week I'm gonna switch over to Libsyn. So I'm probably gonna end up having to reroute my therapy sessions podcast. And then I'm going to have all this dope ass shit like an app that you can download. You can download So you could download my app.
Apps.
And then it's just a lot of cool shit. And then hopefully by next month I'll have my drone, and then I'll start getting on my vlogumentary. You know, he's got his vlog, his Walmart vlog.
Walmart.
You know, he lives up in Walmart. If he ain't home, he's at Walmart. Yeah. Well, you know, I want to thank you, B-Rob, for coming on the podcast, and I want everybody listening to this brand new show. This is episode 4. To go and check his show out. He has a lot of great guests on as well. Random Ramblings with Rob. Find him on iTunes, Stitcher, and all podcasting apps. You could do the same with this one, Joint Narcissism. You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all those fucking podcasting apps. You can do that. You could email me at gsmhpodcast.com, at gsmhpodcast@gmail.com. There you go. That's it. There you go. And then follow all the social media at GSMH Productions. Yeah. And if you haven't heard my other show, Therapy Sessions, you can go find it on everywhere else. Therapy Sessions. Just follow me. You can find it. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.